Well, hey guys, welcome to our live show. Yeah, it's Jeff from Home RenoVision with my son Matt, and today we're going to be doing our drywall masterclass. Now, this is not a taping series. This is a how to install drywall series. The reason for that is if you don't know how to put it in right, you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to tape it to hide all your mistakes. So we're going to go through all these issues that you are going to do as a DIYer, show you how to do it like a professional so you can have great success. Now, today's show is sponsored by Jobber. It's my favorite CRM software for anybody who's in a like renovation type business. Okay, so if you've got a small business, you're going to want to get that stuff. We'll talk more about that later. Let's just jump into this right off the bat. You can see that we are done with our soundproofing and all of our track. We're what we're going to call installation ready. There's a few things I'm going to go through as like a checklist for you so that you guys can make sure that you're not moving ahead too fast because there's all the little things that you're going to miss. Okay. You know, there was one trick I was going to grab. If you would grab me a little bit of tape, I don't know if it's red or blue or tuck tape or white tape or whatever. Okay. Let's get a little bit of tape. It's a great trick for DIYers if you're getting new and you're starting. It's easy to forget something and move along real quick. So, Matt, what I'm going to get you to do, run a little strip of this and hang a foot or so it's not hitting you in the forehead off of every light and this fixture as well, okay? That'll ensure, guys, as you're going along installing your drywall, you're not forgetting to measure and mark the location of that said flag. Once you've measured and marked it, you remove it before you hang the drywall. But it's just a great little trick to keep you visually aware, okay? The only other thing we're going to need to get started is the drywall lift. Oh. Yeah, can you imagine? We did all this prep work and we forgot to bring the lift down. Now, we are going to be doing commercial grade 5/8 drywall, 12-foot length on the ceiling. And the reason is that we're going for a soundproof, okay? We're not trying to isolate the sound so that this is not a studio, but we are trying to create an environment where it's my forever home, all right? And somewhere down the road, my wife is going to be up in the kitchen with the ladies drinking the wine, and I'm going to be down here with the boys watching the game, and we don't want to hear them, and they don't want to hear us. And so that's the kind of soundproofing that we're going for here. So going with the 5/8 drywall, because that's fiberglass, gives us much more sound control. Consider that idea. And if you're looking at doing a basement renovation, adding bedrooms or offices, we've got videos to show you how to get a much better soundproofing in between floors for impact and for conversation noise. Now, as soon as you're done that, I'll let you run out and start bringing that thing down. A couple other things to take a look at. Drywall comes square, your room will not. Okay? So we want to resist the temptation of just starting the full sheet at the end of the wall. All right? And I'll tell you more about that in a second. Take your T-square that you're going to need. Double check your light boxes. Make sure that they are hanging down below the level of your strapping, about the thickness or a little bit less than your drywall. That'll help you guarantee that when you pull out your RotoZip later to cut your hole in your ceiling, everything works well. Same thing with your heat ducts. I recommend that everybody just goes and buys the 90 for your heat run and not the boot, okay? There's lovely trims. We'll shove one on there later and show you. It's a great way to finish off a ceiling. Gives you lots of control to open and close your dampers. And that is really the whole science behind this. So now we've got our strapping set up. We're roughly every 16 on center. We're avoiding issues as we need to, okay? You don't have to be too overly concerned. This drywall is incredibly rigid. And so you can even go up to 24-inch span. So don't be worried. You don't have to sit there and mark it all out and snap chalk lines. Just get it done, all right? Try to cut it so it's continuous, and that'll make the installation go easier. Having your joint exactly where the other one leaves off, right, means that you're not going to be staggered. You're not going to be punching holes through the drywall screws afterwards and not have anywhere to put it. All right, Joe, why don't you come on over here? We'll give Matt some room to bring the equipment down. And we're going to talk about layout. There we go. And I bet you dollars to donuts, Matt, we won't need that bench today. You don't think I am just tall enough that I can pull that off. Okay. I might have to grow an inch or two, but I think we'll get it done. When you're looking at where to start, okay, start doing this. These joists are 16-inch on center, okay? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your first sheet. 1, 2, 3. That's the second sheet. 1, 2, 3. That's the next one. 1, 2, 3. That's the next one. Now think about this. A 12-foot long piece of drywall. You're going to have a gap of around 14 inches plus the cut around that pipe all down this row. That's about 8 feet. And then you're going to have a huge chunk sitting out over there, which means you can't use the lift, which means the weak spot is going to be right here, just a little piece of drywall, and it's pretty heavy stuff. So if you don't want to do that to yourself, don't start at the other end. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start right here. We're going to make our life easy because we're going to have a little bit of leftover, and we don't want to finish flush right here off this corner, because if you finish at this corner, the tapered end of the drywall is here and here, and then you're filling mud, and then you've got a hump right on your corner. It's going to be a shadow forever. So what we're going to do is intentionally cut this out and go a few inches in. I'm going to go about 6 or 8, okay? And so by going 6 or 8 inches in, we get our joint way over here, out of the way. So after we're done with our fill coat, there's nothing but just fresh drywall there, no bumps, no humps, no shadows. And then we'll work our way back through the rest of the room. When we get to the other side, because rooms are never square, we'll be able to measure from one drywall to the wall and the other end of the wall and cut it exactly so that we don't have open gaps and cracks. And if you can keep everything without having gaps and cracks, then you don't have to fill it before you tape. All right, let's just assemble this on camera, and then we'll get into measuring and taping. Okay, here we go. I'm going to recommend, guys, if you're going to use the 5/8 drywall or anything more than 10 feet, get the rental. Okay, that's how they work. They just snap into place. This little piece over here, it's going to have a painted metal. Okay, it's going to have a raw metal. The raw metal goes into this V right here. All right, you can see this. That's to receive that V right there. Stuck that in.
I always mess this part up.
And now lean forward. There you go. That's it. That's done. Nice and simple. Now, the only other thing is stick that rod in there. This is all gravity fed, guys. It's not that tricky. Okay. And there we go. Hang on, let's go slow down just a little bit. We can show the folks at home. All right, so first of all, this right here is a latch. Okay. Pop that off. It rolls forward. Okay. Now, when you go to stick that in, go ahead, Matt. You can show them how that works. This is another V. You start a little high. Boom, done. Okay. Now, because we're going 12 footers, right at the end, looks like a little cup, spring loaded, so you can pull the arms out. Okay. And the arms have holes in them, preset. Okay. Now, you might want to go to the next extension there so it's more balanced as we get moving. There you go. All right. So that's the idea. Now, when we're working, keep the wheel on the opposite side of these arms. So we can carry the sheet over. We always put the white paper face onto this first, because then when you level it out, you have the paper facing down, raise it up, stick it in place. Nice and simple. We'll just set this over here for a second. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with Matt. We're going to call out some numbers. You're just going to draw that out on that paper.
Sure. We're
going to get our first sheet over here. All right. So off the edge, Matt, we are going to go 91 1/4. Okay. Now, as well, can I get you to mark down 17 2 feet?
17 and then 2 feet?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, and I guess 8 inches will be perfect. Go ahead, mark on 8 inches for me for the last number. I know what that means. Okay, so this is the trick. We have to visualize this piece of drywall on the ceiling, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to lift this up, lay it flat, bring it over, and then stick it up, okay? So the first number was the length of that wall, 91 1/4. This is going to be a lot of fun. So 91 1/4 is where my edge is, right there. And we wanted to come in 8 inches, I said, right?
Yeah, you said 8 inches off that corner.
Okay.
And then we got 17 and 2 feet.
And then we're just going to visualize the cut. The reason I'm using black markers so that it's easier for you guys. Yes, it makes it more difficult for me at the end of the day, but I'll just throw little kills on my black lines that show and not worry about it. And the other numbers were 17 and 24, okay? And that was for my pipe. 17 and 24. Can you get a measurement how deep that pipe is off the wall for me? Oh, don't forget, while we're working, go ahead. 5 inches? Okay. So I'm going to go to 13 and a quarter. Now we're going to cut all that out. And that'll be probably the trickiest cut of the whole day. All right. I need my saw for this. Now, 5/8 is very thick. So you're going to want to have a saw. And as I was saying, as we're working today, rules of engagement are, feel free to interrupt us. All right? If you have questions or we're moving too fast, jump in the comment section and say hey. The comments usually run about 30 seconds lag time before we see them. So don't be concerned about waiting for the right time to ask a question. Just jump in. Eric is going to interrupt this and shout them out for us so we can help you guys out, answer your questions as we go along. Okay, $7 worth every dollar. And then we've got this one. There we are. Okay. Now, I'm going to recommend when you're cutting your drywall to use the square. This is a great tool. It'll help keep things flat and straight for you. You put your knife in your board, move the square up to it, and now we're pushing the square with the blade of the knife. Oh. Come on, Jeff. Okay. Now, this stuff is actually really strong and a little bit difficult to play with. So, run a second cut through there. Get that tip buried in there really good. It's a little more difficult to work with this than the 1/2 inch ultralight. Alrighty, there we go. You want to come and just help support that in for me? Once you've got your cut through there, put your hand on the backside, just below the line, and then work it over. And then we're going to come through. Thank you. And, oh, yeah, there we go. And a real quick question for you. Jump in the comments and let me know. Are you planning on doing a basement this year? Or is that a future project? Or are you in the middle of it right now and you're glad we're doing this? Okay, now we got our sheet. It's cut. We're ready to go. We're going to swing it this way. All right, try not to hit our cameraman. Beautiful. Lift it up. And the goal here is to set it on those little silver standout feet. Okay. You're going to have to lift. Wow. It's a little tight in here, isn't it? Yeah. It's okay, Matt. It doesn't have to go right there. All right. No worries.
Can we flip it back so I can get it on the hook?
It doesn't matter.
There we go.
All right. Now we're going to come across to the other end of the room here. Joe's going to try his best not to end up on his butt. Come all the way over here. Okay. I was going to say it felt a little tall, didn't it? All right. What we're going to do is lift and slide it right to the wall. There we go. Now we're in position. All right. Now the nature of our scenario here today is this. We have a lot of things in the way. right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to find that that's going to hold true all day long. What we want to do, bring this down just a little bit. We got to push the drywall towards the outside wall first. Okay. And then we got to push the drywall towards that wall. Okay. Now we're ready to lift. Now, I'm looking at these blue flags. First rule, the reason they're there is so you don't forget that we have to measure off to be able to cut these. Now, if you haven't measured in advance, that's okay. You're on wheels, right? You just go ahead and get your measurement and you get started. I happen to know that all of my lights are 36 inches off 36 inches because we have the designer that did this and have an electrical map. So I can get this easy. But what I want to do is I want to take my marker. Now these are the Sawzall, sorry, these are the Milwaukee ink saw, okay? You want to get one of these. This works on insulation, on wood, on concrete, on plastic, wet, oil surfaces, everything. You want to actually mark where our framing is on the ceiling, on the wall. So when it's all covered up, we know where to put our screws. Okay. Here we go. Beautiful. And wow, we're not going to get this one at all, are we? I'm going to mark here. There we go. The rest of them you'll be able to see on the other side. Eh? Okay. This is happening really quick. Okay. All right. Now we'll come back. Let's get into that corner.
So we need to shimmy it towards this wall a little bit more, right?
Yeah, we will in a sec. Let's just get lifted up close to the ceiling. All right. Beautiful. I'm liking it. Okay, Matt, we got to close this gap first. If you can give that a shove. Good. And then come on over here with a hammer and we'll both shove it that way. Okay. Okay. Now we're coming off and I don't understand. Okay, there we go. And back over this way. It's basically, this thing is our own best friend and our own nightmare.
Well, what I was thinking was we could just lower it a bit. We'll both raise the sheet and just scooch it down on the lift.
Yeah, because we're getting kind of compression issues going on here, aren't we? All right. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a frustration. So we'll just go push it this way.
I'm touching.
Okay, there we go. Now we'll lift it up. And now we just got to push this way nice and tight. Close that gap. And away we go. All right. We're in. Now, one other thing. Where's that square that I just bought? I think I put it in the other room. Can you grab that for me?
What color is
Sorry, just a framing square, silver. We have first issue when you're doing your ceiling. You got to make sure that your drywall is square to your longest running wall. Right here. This needs to be square. If you're out of square, every sheet that goes on is going to go from tight to open and so on and so forth. You got that? And so we're just going to see is how close are we to square? Yeah, we're definitely out. Okay, could you get your corner over there and just open it up a little bit, like close my gap up here a bit, and then shove it back at me towards the outside wall. Is it moving at all? Are we in there too tight?
probably too tight?
Yeah, probably too tight. How's that? Oh, there we go. I like that. Okay. I'm going to check that again. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Okay. Now I know I'm square to the room.
Okay.
That's the last time I need that. And now we can screw it up. Nice and simple. Now, we know where the tracks are because we made our marks. And we got to dimple a bit on the end of our drill, so we never go too deep. Half of the work when you're doing drywall is having the bit go too deep or not deep enough. Let me show you. You can take your 4-inch knife. And if you get that click, it means you're not deep enough. All right. Let's see if that works. Perfect. So now I know when I'm drilling, I give it a nice good push, finish through, and I'm going to be fine. If you need to, you can adjust this. This is 2 separate wheels. You can take one back and then tighten the other one. It's an adjustment. All right. Or you can just go freehand like Matt. And before you tape, you run around with your knife and you make sure all your screws are in properly. If you break the tape, you have a failed mechanical fastener. And you have to put another screw in if you break the tape right next to it. Okay. So let's assume that that's broken. What you do is go right here, inch away. Just add another one. Okay. And make sure that building code requires us to go 1 screw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws per sheet. So we start with 1 on each end, we do 1 in the middle, and then we just split the difference and fill in the field. All right, here we go. Now, once you get about 6 or 8 screws in, you can actually pull this contraption out of the way. How many you got in there, Matt?
10.
You got a few on each side?
Yep.
All right. That's plenty. Watch your head. All right, I'll let you finish screwing. I'm going to grab the RenoVision. All righty.
I think we got a bad box of screws too.
Why?
This doesn't hold the hold on the tip very well.
Oh, maybe it's your drill bit. Try switching out to this one. It's a fatter head. All right, now I need my marker here. 36 from the framing. 36 from over here. Here's my hole. Does that look about right? Let's find out. All right. Whoa. Wow. All right. That is a lot of cord. Now, let's just take a look over at this one here, Matt. My man, we'll take a look at this. So what I've got here is I've got a flange, and it's screwed to my framing, and this hole is the perfect hole for my pot light. All right. One of the reasons we're strapped up here so that we can add extra pot lights later if we need to. So, considering that that is going through 5/8 of material, we'll have to adjust our RenoVision here, okay? Because the tip, that top 1/4 inch, is flat. It's not a cutting tool. So we want to use that to guide us. We want to have 5/8 of material. There we go. And we'll set our bit nice and deep here. It's going to screech. It's going to be a little loud. You did. You went to the right. Don't.
Did I?
You see the ductwork where the joint is on the ductwork? That's actually a mark. Now you're just on the other side of that. Sorry. That's probably better, Mark. Yeah, buddy. All right. So here we go. We're going to plunge. We're going to cut. When you're cutting on the outside of a hole, you go counterclockwise. When you're inside a hole, you go clockwise. No way. She's getting old. Yeah, that's my spot. Figures we're on a live show and my cutter's giving me a hard time. That is awesome. All right, let's get this out of here.
Quick water break, Jeff?
You know what? That's not a terrible idea. Let's do a quick drink. Get that dust out of my mouth. It's all about having a system that reduces the amount of work you have to put in for the rest of the building cycle. That's smart. And speaking of smart, this is the perfect time for me to tell you about the sponsor of today's Drywall Masterclass. If you're running your own business, it's important that you run it like a pro to demand top dollar. That's why I love Jobber. It's the perfect software for managing the day-to-day of your business. Jobber takes care of all of your admin work. It takes care of your quotes, your client communication, your invoicing, and even taking your payments. So you can focus on what you do best, and that's making money. If you're running a drywall or any kind of handyman business, this is really going to help you out. So scan the QR code on the screen or check the link in the video description to try your 14-day trial for free. Make sure you tell us what you think about it. Now let's get back to the training. All right. So we are back. Here we go.
You want to bang out a couple questions?
Yeah, by all means, it's a great time.
Okay, I got a bunch here. Why are you using 5/8 instead of 1.5" drywall?
Instead of 1.5 inch? Probably mean 1/2 inch. Okay, so we're using, want to know why I'm using 5/8 drywall instead of 1/2 inch. 5/8 drywall is fire rated, and it's also got fiberglass mesh in it. Okay, and so what happens is in the world of soundproofing, you're going to find that a 1/2 inch ultralight drywall doesn't really stop anything as far as sound is concerned, but the commercial rated, fire rated drywall is used in soundproofing applications. A lot of cases, 2 layers plus a 2x4 wall and insulation and 2 more layers creates a completely soundproof office. And so for here, we're using the soundproof because it is a sound deadener. It is a lot quieter when we're done. Plus, it goes up really nice and rigid. And so I find that with dimensional floor joist packages, there's a little bit of waviness going on with them. And if you use a really rigid drywall, it helps to eliminate some of that waviness when you go to tape and gets your finish really nice. But yeah, great question.
We got a question from Inder. He just finished his basement drywall. How much should he roughly expect to pay for mudding and taping about 110 sheets?
Wow. Okay. Well, here's the greatest question, right? So I get a lot of homeowners that are like, well, I'm going to do the drywall myself and hire a taper. As a former taper, we don't like those jobs. Because I'll tell you what, you're not putting in 12-foot sheets of drywall. And I know the tendency for most homeowners is every time they have a scrap piece of drywall, they see money. And so they want to screw it to the wall. They want to add it somewhere. And if you're like most people, you've got a bunch of little patches all over the place in your basement. And so then when a taper comes by, he just goes and looks at that and goes, wow, he can't expect the screws to be the right depth. He knows he's going to have all kinds of extra joints. He's going to have to skim coat almost entire wall surfaces. So they're going to charge you a lot more. The best plan for you, if you want to know what it's going to cost to get something taped, is have somebody quote the entire job and separate the drywall from the taping so you know what the market rate is. But generally speaking, you can tape it yourself. If you can hang it, you can tape it. And I suggest you just watch our video package and learn how to do it, because taping is really expensive. And depending on where you live, the demand for that skill level is going to be really high right now, because a lot of guys have retired from the trade and there's a huge vacuum of people who know what they're doing. You'll probably get a better result doing it yourself than hiring someone that comes across as affordable. Because the guy that you find that's affordable is going to be new in the business and he's going to be in a rush and he's just trying to make a quick buck. Just saying, if you want it done right, do it yourself.
Can you repeat the questions after I asked them, because I'm not Mike?
Yes.
So tips on getting those heavy 12-foot sheets from the store into the basement.
All right. Well, one tip for getting the big sheets downstairs is this. You can go to a commercial drywall supplier. All right. So this is not like a box store. And these guys, they'll have a delivery service where they'll actually bring it right into the room where you want it. Okay. So they can slide it through your window. They can bring it down the stairs for you. I recommend doing it. It's usually a couple bucks a sheet, but you know what? It's worth money in the bank. And you also have to remember, there are some basements in the world where you can't get 12-foot sheets down. You might only be able to get 10s. Okay. So if you have a straight run of stairs, a lot of times the ceiling height dictates, because you're bringing your sheet down and then you have to lift as the other guy comes down. And that pivot point is right at the corner of your ceiling. And so you, first of all, grab your tape and grab a friend, and you both hold it 10 feet out, at least 4 feet off the ground, and you pretend you're walking it down into your house. Find out if you can even get 10s. But a lot of times 12 don't fit unless you got a big enough window to slide it through. So be careful with that.
One last one?
Yeah, hit me.
Jake H is about to start drywall in his basement. The ceiling is just under 8 feet high, so he's thinking about vertical sheets rather than horizontal. What do you think of that?
Okay, so the question is, hey, my basement is 8 feet tall. The drywall is 8 feet long. What if I install it vertical, right? In theory, it sounds like a great idea. And I've seen lots of people do this over time. But I framed this wall myself. And this sucker is bang on, 16 on center. If it's not perfect, your sheets aren't going to fit. Okay? And the idea here is people think it makes it easier. But when you install your drywall horizontally, you only have one joint that you have to tape in the middle of your entire wall. Okay? And it's about where your hand is. If you go top to bottom, you're bent over all day long and you're on a ladder or you're working above your head. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more joint. The only thing you're getting rid of is the odd butt joint where the sheets meet together on the short side. And I'm going to tell you right now, to save a butt joint that's a lot of work to just try to save a butt joint. Because now this wall, for instance, I'm going to have 4 big joints, right? So that's 32 feet of joint. If I go just horizontal, I've only got 13 feet of joint. You're tripling your work. Just saying. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. All right. This one is going to be easy to figure out because we'll drill the other pots.
Okay.
And then we'll just line it up and hit it at the end. The next sheet is going to be 4 feet, which is 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I have no more obstructions. Nothing's in the way. Just a matter of slapping it up and getting her done. I love it.
Cool.
All right, Matt.
We're just throwing this thing on here.
Oh, you're turning on your mic?
Yeah.
Nice.
Joe? Can you hear it?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, sweet.
All right. Matty is live. Okay, one other piece of advice. When Matt and I brought the drywall down, we brought it down 1 sheet at a time, so all the whites were sticking out. So that all we had to do was lift the red onto the lift. They come as 2 pieces of drywall with the white paper facing each other to protect it during shipping. If you take it apart outside and bring it down 1 sheet at a time, then your drywall is easy to do this. If you have a tighter room, you can't spin it, you can't flip it over. Just make your life simple. Here we go. We're going to get into position. All right, that's about it. Keep going. Okay. 1 second. We got to push this way. Now, we're just going to do a little bit of communication. I'm going to hold this up.
Yeah.
And we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Just give it another tightening on the wheel. One more little oomph. All right, beautiful. Yeah.
Matt, I'm getting clicking from your right. Yeah, Matt, can you hear for a sec? Good.
All right, while they're working that out, I'll get back to screwing. Huh.
Oh, just mic test or something? Should be good. Okay.
All right. So, what we're doing for production to go a little faster is we're going to basically screw the perimeter, a couple in the field, which is the body of the sheet, and then we'll move on to the next cut. Because it's always easy to let the helper continue to screw and screw and screw while you're measuring and trimming and cutting and sorting things out. As long as we mark each end of that sheet where the track is, it's easy to connect the dots. All right. So, I feel like I got too many tools on me today.
You got a lot going on over there.
Yeah, well. All right.
How's that dimpler bit treating you?
I'm loving mine.
Yeah.
The screws are not so much, but hey.
Told you.
What kind of screws you guys using?
Generic.
This construction.
It's a specialty drywall screw. These they're great because they don't rust and they don't mark anything up. They carry the weight of the sheet, but they have the lowest shear strength in the world, so you really can't use them for anything other than drywall. All right. There we go. I'm just going to throw a couple of these screws in the field here. I can't believe I missed that.
I've missed 3 already.
That does create a little extra work, doesn't it? But hey. Oh, I love work. All right.
That's probably good.
Okay, why don't you get that out of here? Let's pull that chalk line down and we'll show them a little something else. Bottom line, guys, whenever you get a screw that you miss, you got to do a couple things. You got to remove it. And if they go too deep, there we go. You got to remove your screws. You got to create a dimple so that when you're taping, you can fill that up. You got your chalk line on you? Might as well grab an end. All right. If you are working and you find that this is difficult and you want to mark your screw line, just hit that one there, right in the middle. Okay. I'll come over here, hit the other screw, and then we'll create a line. And that's how you know where the screws go. That's a little bit more of a guarantee.
Hey, Jeff, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, buddy.
Linda has seen fine and coarse drywall screws. What's the difference? What are the applications?
Okay. So generally the difference is the coarse thread is designed for wood. The fine is for metal. We're using a fine thread screw here because this is metal. We'll also be using the same screw on the wall because when you put it in a wall, there's downward force and you're not going to likely to pull out. But if you use a fine thread screw on wood, okay, you run the risk of it not being able to get a good hold because there's really not much thread there at all. All right. So use the coarse thread for wood on your ceilings and fine thread on metal. Other than that, Bob's your uncle. We're good to go. All right. Next thing. Well, he's doing that. I'm going to measure off the next issue. Go ahead, bud. Come on over here, Joe, and let's get a really nice close-up of this shot because this is technology people are going to want to integrate. I've got my 5-inch ductwork here with my 90, okay? And this is what's called all-round. It's metal strapping. You find it in the plumbing department. And it goes up over the ductwork and back down again, all right? And what we got going on here is I pull the strap tight to a block set across here, screw it in so that this isn't moving anywhere, all right? That way when I hang my drywall up, I can stick my RenoVision, cut it out, and it doesn't make a huge mess, in theory. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a mark where the middle is, okay? And then I'm going to measure to the middle. We'll go 12.5. 12.5 inches right there. Now, when I hang my sheet of drywall up, I'll know I got my mark. It's written in pencil. It'll cover up with tape and mud and paint. Boom. And then we'll know how and where to cut. I've also got an obstruction over here. Same thing. We'll go perpendicular from the drywall, 23 inches. Make my mark, 23 inches. There we go. Now we're ready to go. All right, Matt, let's throw another sheet up here.
Okay.
What do you say? All right. Time for number 3 of 5. Loving it. It's going to be a good feeling to be done that ceiling. All right. Let's get you over here about there. Up you go. Okay. Right there. Hold it.
We just got to scooch the whole thing.
Oh, you got to scooch there
Half
too?
finish that way, yeah.
Oh, okay. You're hitting that duct work over there, I'm sure. All right.
Okay.
Hey Jeff, I got a question.
Hold on. I'm hitting duct work over here, so you're only going to get so good.
Okay. You want to do Rick's question?
Well, I'm going to throw a... Yeah, you popped the other end as soon as you did that because we got obstructions in the ceiling. So back it up a little bit. You
Okay.
screw it in a second. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, we just want to know, Michael, do you notice the difference between 5/8 drywall and 1/2 inch when you're working with it?
Yeah, it's a lot heavier. The fiberglass and the 5/8, it's a lot heavier, like double. Yeah, you'll notice. I mean, just picking up an 8-foot sheet for 2 guys, that's a long day at the office. Okay, so we're below this now.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's pull this way because I've got a duct that's sitting down. I got a light that's sitting down.
Right.
So we can't tighten it up the same. All right, let's just get to that. Oh, I got blood everywhere now.
What'd you do?
I stabbed myself earlier.
Why'd you do that?
As an accident in the ceiling, whatever. It's only blood.
Yeah.
It's, so now that'll hold my corner. Now we can pull this one. Pull it. Push it.
Yeah.
Crazy how this is 1/2 an inch longer out, eh? Oh, we're really nice and tight here. Huh. Okay. Now you go ahead and screw away, and I'm going to mark my locations for my drill. All right, now 12.5. That's my hole there. My other one's over here underneath this. Okay. So Matt, give me 1 second. I want to explain this. So we've got a light fixture right here in the middle. All right. Basically, it's here somewhere. And because it's lower than the rest of the ceiling so that it sinks into the drywall is naturally scooped here. So what we want to do is we've got to be very careful. If we get too close to this location with screwing it in, all of our screws are going to pop through the paper, right? So what we want to do is get like 3 and 3 on this side, and then over here, we'll do the rest of that seam. But we're going to stay about 2 feet away from this fixture, which is about here in every direction. So just imagine this whole area here. We're not going to put any screws until after we've had a chance to get the sheet tightened up and get the support out of the way. All right, remember, 8 screws will hold the sheet up, and that won't be an issue. You got some tape on you? Brilliant. Yeah, I'd be better if I wasn't bleeding all over the place. Eh?
Turn it into a scene of Dexter.
Turn this into a first aid video, eh? I got blood everywhere, actually. There we go. If you're a fan of the channel, you've seen this before because I have a tendency to hurt myself. There we go. Yeah, I know. There we go. Good for another year. All right. Ay. And get this out of my way. Okay, Matt, I think we're ready to get this thing out of here.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, let's drop it and walk it. Okay. Get my broken rotozip. All right. Well, that's frustrating. I've had this tool for what, 15 years? And today it decides to break. It's just too funny. All right, 23 from there. Ho! 23 from there. Again. Okay. We got pencils everywhere. Here we go. So my wire is a little bit loosey-goosey. Hopefully it finishes the day.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. Come on, baby. That's how you got a perfect hole, right? Now we can screw this up and just try to stay at least 3 inches away from this thing.
Okay.
So we're not having to tape right next to the hole.
Okay.
Brilliant. Oh, we might as well do the other dryer event too while we're at it. As long as it's working. Okay. That actually worked a lot better. Good. Well, the good news is I get to buy myself a new tool. I also have the plan for the rest of these lights written down on my schematic, so I can easily trace that out later. So at least we got the cutouts that were site specific today. That's great. Now we just hope that this thing lasts long enough to screw it all in my plugs as I do the rest of the room.
That's right. We got like 15 different times we got to use that thing. Eh?
I think she's got 15 more uses in her.
You might have to do how to splice a wire live today.
Maybe, eh? All right. Next sheet, bud. Oh, my God. We're going to turn the wheel around the other direction this time. All right. I don't think we need the flags because we got a lighting schematic. There we go. We'll get that out of the way. All right, dude, you and me.
Okay.
Hoy. 2 more pieces and then we're done this section. And we got to cut in all the other parts over there. All right. Oh, that's a good workout. Oh, here we go. 1 second.
Oh, sweet.
I just saw this. This is what happens sometimes. This is what happens when the guys at the yard use a forklift to move the drywall. You can see this is obviously the bottom of a skid. I got all kinds of damage. Now, in a perfect world, I have to do a cutoff for the last piece.
Uh-huh.
We could set this aside for a minute and then take the cutoff from that one.
Yep.
Because like what I would have to do is basically I'd have to cut this back until I have good drywall to tape with. And you can see the damage is pretty significant here. And I'm not in the mood for all that kind of extra work. So let's just spin that around on the long side of the wall under the window. We'll pop it off and set it on the ground. Okay.
Okay.
Up and off. There we go. We'll save that for later. Let's get the good sheet and put that one up. And let's get the wheel in the right spot. Okay. All right. Got it.
It's a lot easier to lift when you're not back against the wall.
You got some room, eh?
Yeah.
No doubt. Okay, Matt. We're not exactly in the middle. Why don't you just hold that in? Because I think we're off center here. Oh.
Nice.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's throw a few screws in this one. And then while you're finishing off this sheet, I'll measure off for the next one. All right. Now, somebody has got to be able to figure out that we have gone against the grain with the traditional drywall installation system of staggering joints today. Come on over here, Joe. I'll let him screw it in. We'll show you. Our room is almost 14 feet. Oh, almost 14 feet wide. Right? And so generally we would go full sheet, a sheet, and we would stagger these joints. So there'd be a butt joint here, one over there, one back here, one over there. But here's why we did it. Our window is almost flush with the ceiling. Okay. And if I had, I'll use my hand. If I had a butt joint here, and then I tape that, I would scream. It's hard to make this perfectly flat ceiling with the window right there, especially in February as the sun's going down. Oy, oy, oy. And then I'd have one over here, or I could sacrifice and have one right here. And then I'd have a butt joint over my heat register vent. And so then I'd stretch by putting all the butt joints at the other end, far away from the window. It's a little bit more work for us because we've got to be very exact with our installation. What we're going to do is we'll start in the middle of the room and then work our way out. But this allows that entire joint to be down here in the hall next to the ceiling, which has also got a joint. And then I can stretch it from here all the way to that inside with a 36-inch blade and eliminate that joint altogether. So if you're looking at it from a ceiling perspective, I can finish the ceiling, dropping this corner, and blend it all in, and no one will ever see it. If I put any joints anywhere near that window, they're going to scream forever. Doesn't matter how good you are. When your window is that close to your ceiling, you are done, right? Okay. Now, let's get some measurements so we can cut the next sheet. Oh, I got a broken corner. All right. When you have a broken corner, take this, make it obvious. Okay? Don't go putting the rest of the sheets up and then, oh, I guess that wasn't really broken after all. No, if it's broken, peel it off. Always work it back to solid board again. And then we'll finish our drywall. We'll fill this up. And then when we're taping, we can add an extra piece of paper tape or something if we need to. Not a big deal. All right. Now, my frame here, the solid board is 21 3/4. Always write it down as you go. Down here, there's no way.
What?
Our room is square.
We framed it.
Wow, that's impressive. 21 3/4, and I'm going under. All right. Okay, so here, let's get that down and out of the way because this is the last of the 5/8. Now we're going to show you a little trick here, guys. Maybe we can put it up against that insulation wall there. Perfect, bud. 21 3/4. So just, especially if you're new, okay, you hold your pencil to your mark, run that along. Not in a hurry. This is my mark. Gives you something to follow when you're using your knife, okay? Now, this material is 5/8 thick. The material that's going on the wall is 1/2 inch thick. So if my measurement is 21 3/4, my measurement, I'm actually taking a little bit off because every time you cut this drywall, it leaves a jagged edge. Now, over here is 21 3/4, pretty much exact. So we're a little tighter. What we're going to do is we're going to cut it. We're going to prep the board by using our rasp to cut off all those jagged pieces so we can just suck it up into place and then we'll be fine. The reason I did a pencil mark is so that as I'm pulling my square, I can keep an eye on whether or not I'm coming off my mark. There we go. Whew. Now, because this is basically garbage because it has a damaged edge, we're just going to snap it right on the ground where it lays. Okay, and then we can walk on it. Get it from the backside. You go ahead, and then I'll come back here. All right. Now that is a perfectly good piece of ceiling. All right. Just set it up on top of the drywall for a minute. Now, I am vertically challenged. I'm going to go get a step ladder. Where did my ladder go?
I could probably just hold it, eh?
You think so?
It's in the upper stairs.
I can
Oh,
just,
forget it then. Let's just do this. All right. You maneuver, I'll just carry some weight. You want to back up a little bit? I don't like the way that's bending. Okay. You see how we're just a little too tight here? Okay, bring it down.
Want to bring it down?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Just set it on the lead edge on the ground, on the 2x4s. And then let's just, oh, sorry. Let's rasp this up a little bit. It's far from perfect. Okay. I think we're probably good now.
It's got a flip.
Yes, we do. Watch your end over there. Okay. Let's throw this joint in first. Oh, and then we'll close. We up? Why do I feel like I've got resistance
I
there?
think we
Still?
got to go a little bit more.
A little more rasp.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose my corner, eh? I'm so close, it's not even funny. Okay. We'll take a little bit more off. All right. This is a great time for questions, Eric. Sorry, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, hit me up, bud. Oh.
Do you recommend drywall on the ceiling or a drop ceiling?
Okay.
Can you repeat that question?
So the question is, do I recommend drywall on the ceiling or putting in a drop ceiling? My experience, a drywall ceiling retains more value. And so it's a skill that's worth tackling. The trick is for a lot of people that a lot of people have done a lot of mechanical work in their ceiling, splicing old and new. Okay. And so it pays to be able to have access to all your electrical for sure. The other thing is the ceiling tiles that you pick have a lot to do with whether or not you're going to get return on your investment. Basements are already a bad place for return on investment. It's probably one of the lowest projects you can get. Although recent times you're starting to get more and more where you can actually make money as a DIY renovating your basement. I just like a drywall ceiling. Okay. If you got old mechanical or you got issues or you're planning future renovations, doing the drop ceiling gives you all that freedom and flexibility. And if you're just not comfortable with your taping skills and you're going to go with a drop ceiling, then you can eliminate butt joints from the entire project by doing the vertical drywall we talked about, right? Because then you don't have to worry about drywall. You don't have to have great skills. You can just go fill those joints floor to ceiling and then put in your drop ceiling. We've got videos on all of that kind of stuff if you need them. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of having a nice flat, smooth wall. That's all. It's just a preference for me.
Nice. Do you have a preference on tools that you use cordless versus corded?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know, Matt, you were on the website the other day. Did they have a cordless version of my tool yet?
I thought I saw one.
Really?
I wasn't really looking at that. I was looking at the red and black branding, but
yeah, I've got different tools. Listen, I'm a big fan of having one kind of battery, right? Because batteries are the most expensive part of your whole kit. So whenever I'm using a battery tool, I'm going to go DeWalt because I have all the DeWalt tools now. Big surprise, right? I've been collecting them for years, but when I'm going to use a specialty tool, like I have a fine multi-tool and I don't care. The DeWalt multi-tool, you know, the little vibrating tool. You see everybody on social media nowadays uses that tool like it's a circular saw. Bloody ridiculous. I use my fine tool maybe twice a year. It's not my tool of choice. It's slow and the blades are expensive and you're more likely to start a fire in most scenarios. But I love the fine multi-tool. I love my RotoZip. There's something about the RPMs on it and the years that they've been making that tool. It's been a commercial production tool for like, I don't know, 40, 50 years now. I mean, they've just got it down to a science. Yeah, so whenever I need something that's cordless, I'll go with a DeWalt. But if I don't need a cordless tool, then, I don't mind buying the top end of the product line. Just because, like, I mean, you get what you pay for. And if you can get a corded tool that's $400 and the battery tool is $200, there's a reason for that. So if you're going to afford it, you're going to use it on a regular basis, get the best tool in the market. Batteries are just a luxury. Okay. All right.
I got one more question for you, Jeff.
Yeah, buddy.
If your basement is not square, how do you start the ceiling drywall?
Yeah, well, most people don't have a square basement or a square anything. I was talking with Matt about that earlier today, actually. So here's the deal. If you're not square, just take your square, put it in the corners and find out. The easiest way to start is, first of all, identify areas like where we open up into a hallway. And okay, consider that as a starting area. But if you want to start down at this end of the room, what you would do is measure out about 40 inches, okay, 8 inches less than a sheet of drywall, and put your first sheet on here and square it to the long wall, all right? Then you can measure from a finished edge to the wall, and you can custom cut it. So if your wall's all wavy, you can custom cut it. If it's just 0 to hero, you can custom cut it. When you get to the other end, it'll be the same situation. So measure out the whole space, divide it by the 48s, find out what's left over, all right? And then you can consider if you have anything less than 2 feet left over, you're going to use another sheet, right? So as long as you don't cut off more than 2 feet on the first sheet, you're going to be able to finish up and not have a little sliver. And you'll be able to set up the square up in the body of the room. And that's basically how that's done. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this again.
Sure.
Beautiful. This is starting to become work. All right.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be
It's
work.
drywall.
All right.
Cool.
I'm loving it.
We're not actually. There we go.
Yeah. I'm just going to give it a little bit of love here. Make sure this works. All right. Oh my gosh. It's not going anywhere. It's in there.
That's a gamble.
Yeah, well, it's actually a little long too if you want. Bloody. Okay, now come down this way. There we go. Now we go. Okay, there we go. That's a gamble, he says. Yeah, that was risky. I'll agree. Lots of heavy breathing going on right now.
It's a hot basement.
You're in it. That's why.
Thanks.
You're running hot. You know what I forgot to do?
What's that?
Forgot to mark where the bloody straps are over here. Oh. Making my life difficult now. All right.
Could you push up on this side here?
Yes, sir.
I'm not really going in for some reason.
Yeah, we're good. We just got one chunk right here, Matt. So you got a chunk we got to cut out.
Oh, there we go. Oh, it was caught on a staple.
Yeah, isn't that just the bane of existence?
Look at this.
You'd be surprised the number of times a staple will interfere with your perfect installation. All right. I don't know why I put these screws on my second page. Oh. Maddening. I'll leave you to be.
That's good.
We'll get one on that side sooner than later, probably. All right. Woo-hoo. All right. It's not coming down now. Okay. Fantastic. All right, bud. I'm going to get rid of this extra sheet here that we don't need. That's officially garbage, eh? Keep the workspace clean. All right. Now,
I'm pretty sure
you're guessing? I
Well,
missed it on the right by about a quarter inch.
I'm pretty sure we were in line with all of these studs when we first put them in, right? 1, 2,
Well,
3.
not this one. It's there. We missed both.
Oh, not that one either. Okay.
Yeah, here to your
I'm
right.
missing to the left. Yeah.
Oh, also, I know what it is.
What are we doing?
Some of them came short because we met the middle. So come 2 inches out.
If we go off the stud.
Come 2 inches out. There you go.
Okay.
Because
Good
we
catch.
set up our metal and we had factory edges.
Yeah.
And they join up over here. And so then we went back and it came an inch shy. So they're too close to the edge. Yeah, now that makes sense, eh?
Yep.
Now you'll notice, if you go back to the beginning of the video, the sound down here was amazing. Sounded like a studio. But now that we've got a flat, hard surface ceiling in here, the sound's bouncing around a little bit more. And the more of this drywall we put up, the more noisy and tinny and tin can sound is going to get. Soundproofing is not a studio quality sound mix. So once we get the drywall on it, it'll get noisy. There are solutions for that. One of them is the type of flooring you use. So if you want a real quiet space when you're finished, you can use carpet. You can also put in soundproofing panels on your wall as your ceiling and put in furniture and plants and all these kinds of things. All right, buddy, let's get onto the walls now. So much to learn still. Oh. All right, Joe, we're going to start. Yeah, over there somewhere. Okay. Matt, I'm dying over here, man. I need your help.
What do you need?
Well, we're going to put up a sheet of drywall again.
Oh,
We'll finish the screwing around later.
okay.
We don't need to screw around now.
Where's the next sheet going to go?
Well, I figured we saved 2 for this one when we're done.
Okay.
We'll start on that wall.
Okay.
And we talked about going with the 8-footer first, right?
Yep.
Now, the cool thing is we know we're every 16 on center. So what we're going to do is take the pencil, mark the middle, try not to be too crazy with the line. I always get it on an angle. You're better at that than I am. I think I start off the drywall and come around the edge and then fire off.
Oh,
I'm just sloppy that way. Okay, big. Let's go. Ready to roll. Is that 5/8? It is. We haven't finished the rest of the ceiling. Right?
okay. Did you want to go like a full 12-foot sheet?
No, I want to go butt joint to butt joint and just follow those tape lines because it's all over the place.
If you cut, I'll install them.
Well, there's that.
Uh-huh.
Or we can set that aside to do off camera later. And we'll finish off these 3 walls.
Sure.
I think that probably is a good use of our time today.
How long has it been?
It's already almost hour 15.
How's the time?
Ah, you want to do this? All right. Well,
I mean, if they're just little like 4-foot sections, you
it's
just
5 pieces of 2-foot sections.
so I can throw them up and then
All right. Well,
Talking
why
if
don't
you
you jump
cut-
on the square then, and I'll get this out of our hair.
sure.
We'll knock this off real quick. All right. It was a lot of fun setting up for the show today because we've got 5/8 and 1/2 inch of both size material. And so we have to get this done. All right. So the first one, Matt, I'm going to give you the top edge of that drywall and then the bottom edge. Okay. Let's go 30. Oh, wait a second. So 30.5, sorry.
Okay.
We'll start right here in the middle and 30 3/4 on the bottom. That's a pain. Mine just goes 30.5 straight up.
Sure.
All right.
Are we drywalling that wall too?
Eventually, yeah.
So we're good within 1/4 of an inch to
Yeah. 30.5 is
30
fine.
and a half.
We'll cut square. Always consider you want your sheet to get as close to the outside as you can with the same measurement. And then if you have a bit of a gap, realize the next sheet comes up to it and closes it up. The sheet's almost 1/2 inch thick. And so that works in your favor. I got a little bit of foam sticking out here. I got to get rid of that. Okay. We just finished shooting the how to sound insulate your ceiling. There's a few different products that we use for this. A video will be coming out in the next few weeks, I'm sure, give or take, somewhere down the road. All right. You're going to hold while I screw, eh? You got it? We got a situation. All right. Now give me the factory edge to factory edge. That's the one. That's what I'm looking for. Beautiful. All right. And you want to come close that just a bit to you. There you go. And then we'll close the back gap over here. Rotate to your left. There we are. Perfect. You can go after this screw. I'll give you the next measurement. Next measurement is going to be 30 3/4. 30 3/4. Yeah. All right. La-da-dee. So feel free to interrupt me, Eric, anytime you want, Eric. You'll notice that in this particular case, we don't have one piece of material right where the joint is. One of the benefits of working with the 5/8 material is as long as you've got structural support within 3 or 4 inches of the edge of that sheet, you don't need to mend them together on any particular member. All right. So even though I'm not stitching it together, it's not going anywhere. It's going to perform really well for us. Okay. Right over here. Yeah, shoot.
Amanda, member, has a room with walls with tons of imperfections.
Yes.
Mainly poorly done corners. She wants
Yes.
to repaint it and make it look nice. How much of a big project would it end up being to make the corners look nice and smooth?
Okay. Here's the easiest way to say it. There's 2 materials you can use to repair corners. Outside corners, you want to use all-purpose drywall compound. The more you add water to it, the softer and easier it applies, but the more it shrinks when it dries. So if you go with regular all-purpose right out of the bucket, and you can fill it up and fill it up, take a couple of days, do one side, fill the other side, clean it with a 4-inch knife as you go. Okay, and you can build it up back to normal, and then you can sand it finished. You're fine. As far as inside corners, a lot of inside corners, what you really want to do there is take yourself some painting caulking, and you can fill all your gaps in your painter's caulk, and then you can paint right over top of that. All right, so go out and grab yourself a tube of painter's caulk and fill your corners. Grab your 4-inch knife, and you can clean a nice sharp edge, and it's a great way to be able to operate. We did a video in this house before we tore it all apart, showing you how to prep your walls for painting. I think, yeah, can you link that for me?
Yep.
Thank you, Chris. And cheers, tomato. All right, let's go, buddy. And a couple more inches this way. Okay, and back this way. Thank you. This is amazing. All right, and one over here. Next sheet.
This cut off here or no?
Is that 5/8?
Yeah.
Is it got a factory edge?
No.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, one of the ways you get a great taping job is you get nice tight joints, right? You want a 1/16 of an inch or less. And if you don't have that, you're going to be filling with mud. You're going to have to do an extra step. You need a measurement. And then it just, your whole world falls apart on you. All right, this is 30 1/4.
30 1/4.
Yeah, wow. Better go 30.
30 flat.
Yes, sir.
And this is out of 8 feet, or did you want to use the 12 footer?
No, that one there. You got it. I'm just going to keep filling screws in the field while you're doing that. All right. All right. Well, here we go. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My stuff was in your way, was it? There we are.
Hey, Dad, when you get a second, can you show me the velvet attachment close-up of it?
Sure.
What setting you're using to drive extrusion?
Sure.
I'll link it.
We'll do that in just a second. Okay. And away we go. Watch your fingertips. And pull it nice here. So that's the corner. Good. And I'll go back here because I'm just a touch here, man. There we go. One more over here. This reminds me when you were younger, you helped me drywall, and I would just stand there pretending to fiddle around with the screws.
I was just having flashbacks.
And you get you the muscle burn. That's funny. All right, here's my drill. Yeah, this is the bit. This is the drywall dimpler. Okay, and so the top ring here, you can thread off, and you can adjust to the depth on it, and then the bottom ring just holds it in place. All right, and so when you're screwing, it allows you to push the screw that far deep, and that allows the head to be just beneath the surface. And that gives me a perfect result every time. And it's relatively affordable. I can't remember what it was, but I looked at the price. It didn't scare me. Now, there are lots of dimplers on the market, and some of them are really, really horrible. I think you can buy drywall dimplers on Amazon. You get 5 of them for $10. And you know, if you want to buy junk, you can buy that. But why would you want to buy junk? It's the wrong time to save $2. Remember, you're going to put 1,000 screws in your basement. Just a room like this. And if every other screw needs to be adjusted on site while you're taping, forget about it. You just threw all your day in the garbage, going around checking every single screw to make sure it's the right depth. Did you already take a measurement? Aren't you something? All right. Let me get this last one for you. Oof. Toilet. Yeah. What in the world happened there? Okay. Hey, what am I standing on? Looks like 30 is the last number that I need, Matt. Okay. I'm just going to write that down so I don't forget. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Could you tell us why you're using metal strapping instead of wood?
Yeah. That's a good question. So the question is, why am I using metal strapping instead of wood? And that is because I've got really heavy ceiling here. And wood strapping comes like 1x3. It tends to split pretty easy. And when you're putting that kind of weight up, I would rather have a material that's not warped and bent and twisting and splitting easily when I'm putting that kind of weight up. And so I wanted to have a nice, flat, strong ceiling, have some common sense, go the extra mile. It's a little more expensive. It's an extra 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch thicker. But at the end of the day, this gives me a much easier time to fish my wire if I want to add pot lights. Remember, my designer gave me one light in that corner, one over there, one over here, and one up there. And that'll work great for the way that we designed this room to function. But if we change what we're using the room for down the road and I want more lighting, it's a lot easier for me to just come along, measure from my pot light, knowing I'm 16 on center, and just punch a few holes, fish wire. Now that I've got this gorgeous built-in track system here, I can fish wire all day long, unencumbered, right? That's one of the reasons why my insulation is pushed up as high as it is, because now I can also go over top of this. I've also got this gap, so I can run in both directions, okay? One of the benefits of the system that I'm using here, because we're soundproofing, I've got heat runs, or upstairs and downstairs, where the insulation goes right to the bottom of that floor joist. And if I'm only adding a piece of wood, I'm not building in enough space there for me to be able to fish efficiently. Fish efficient, that's a mouthful. All right, anyway, that's why I'm using it. You get what you pay for. Metal is a better product than wood is. In a lot of cases, wood is sufficient, but for here, we're going another step. All right, you got this?
Yep. Ready to roll.
Okay. And to the left. Yeah, I got this. There you go. Beautiful. I would almost think I trained you myself. And about here, I'm guessing. Oh, come on, honey. I'm going to put that screw right where the other screw is. That's a mess. There we go. All right, Matt. Yeah. Next one is 30.
30.
Yes, sir. All right. Okay. Then it's time for the walls. That's not bad. Hour and a half. That's not bad.
With a water break, a couple of questions answered.
You know,
That's not too bad.
move a little slow. This isn't production. This is kind of like semi-production. Nope. Beautiful. Let me grab this one for you. Sweet.
How high are your ceilings?
Pardon?
How high are your ceilings?
Oh, we're a little low here. This is a 1974 raised ranch. So the ceiling height over here, after we poured floor leveler, strapped it, and hung drywall, is too low to play basketball. I'm 88 inches. I'm 88 inches, guys. And keep in mind, fire code for walking around in this place is 78. So I'm 10 inches higher than a fireman with a helmet on. What else do you want? Like I don't know. I know everybody gets so worked up over the height of the ceiling. Oh, and you use metal. We could have saved the quarter inch. And really? I mean, how high do you jump when you're excited? I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I'm going to spend most of my time down here sitting in a chair with the massage feature running, watching TV. I could care less, right? If I wanted a tall ceiling, I would have bought a new house. Oh, I know, but I hear that question all the time in
Looking for a number.
in our membership form. We get these questions all the time. Well, you know, I don't want to lose any ceiling height. I'm like, well, what are you, 82 inches tall? Like, what does it matter?
So 88?
88 is the height, Matt. Yes, correct. Just to be efficient. I've decided to rant. I don't know why. I guess I have an issue. I should see a therapist about it. Okay. Yeah, this has got a bunch of crud. Just,
Okay, here, I'll set
You're
it
good.
down, I'll set it down.
you're good.
I thought we were like a quarter inch out.
Yeah, because there was a big chunk of crud.
Oh, I see.
You got it. All right. And bam. And bam. Thank you, Maddie. Okay. That's not falling down anytime soon. All right. Might fall down, just not today. All right. Let's get all this other junk out of here so we're ready to go. Time to transition to the wallboard. Oh, yeah, I got it. I'm only 54, not 74. All right, so let's have a chat. because we're moving the walls, different technology. We have an obstruction. Yes, we are going to talk about what we're going to do about that, and not just yet. We'll deal with it in a minute. We, because of the way that this worked with our installation, we needed access, and we only had too many walls to work the drywall. It's all sitting right here. So we're going to do this wall first. And then once that wall is done, we have the pleasure of moving the rest of our material. We don't need that at all. Let's just tear this down and get rid of it. That'd be great. Maybe we should just take 2 seconds and show folks how this works. Okay. Oh, you got that on? Here we go. So the backside, remember we just set it in place? The backside has this little lever. Okay, and just compress that. You see that, Joe? Right here. You just compress that and then it slides up. And that's it. That's all that does. That snags it. All right. So if we just compress it and lift, it pops right out. We're good to go. Before we take this part off, put that locking pin on again. Okay. Come on, honey. There we go. Little jiggle and she's good to go. I don't know why Matt's always laughing. All right, there we go. Now, to get this one off, stand on the rod and then lift. That's it. They get heavier every year. What's going on? And then for this section, this is your pin. Put that down and bring your wings in. There we go. Okay. Now, let's talk about the wall, because we have 12-foot and 8-foot sheets here. And my 12-foot sheet goes where? Holy, way over here. All right, it goes right to the other side of my window. So if I put a 12-foot sheet on, it comes right to here. And that might sound like a good idea, right? But I'm going to be replacing this window, and it's causing me an issue because it's not done yet. And I want to be able to return with drywall return. And so when I'm done replacing it, then I'll have my exact location of where my drywall return is. So I'm going to actually extend my drywall up a few inches in every direction to prep myself for success for later. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with an 8-foot piece of drywall, because I have to go 8, 12, and then 12, 8. So if I start with an 8, then I can roto-zip out my section, and then I'll be able to have a guideline for where the rest of this window is. So let's just throw up an 8 and get started. It doesn't hurt one way or another. A joint's a joint. There we are. And I've already marked my ceiling with my pencils. Okay. Can you tighten that corner up there? Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Let's throw a few of these in.
I gotta get a hook for my drill.
You need a what?
I need a hook.
I need you to lift that corner before I throw this back in. Try that again. Okay. Yeah, that's much better. All right. Now, oh, that's what we were going to do. We were going to do that wall first, and then plus the ½ inch got me to the perfect spot.
Okay.
Okay, so what I got to do, Matt, we're going to do this backwards. We're going to show you what not to do. I'm going to mark my stud, and we're going to reset this. That hurts. That hurts my heart. I don't have my bed anymore. Did I give it to you?
Just,
Here, I'll use your drill. Oh. Okay. Here, we're going to do that expression. Don't do it as I do as I say, just because we have the inconvenience going on. Okay, let's set it again. We're going to come off that corner about ½ inch.
oh, okay.
All right. All right. Come to me. And back to you just a touch. And we have a really odd thing happening with our ceiling. Can I get a bit more closure over here? Okay. I think I'm going to go with that. I get gaps on both sides, but this is what happens. You get an older house, nothing's going to be square and level. So in the next series, we're going to show you how to tape. That's going to start with a pre-fill. Oh my goodness. All of a sudden, this bit seems to be going a little bit deep. Great. Matt, look at that. Every screw. I'm going deep now. Not happy with that. I'll be right back. Yeah. Let me know when you're done. All right. All right. Something happened to my bit. It's broken. Don't know what. I'm going old school now.
We got a couple of things going on here.
What's that?
What?
Freehand? What?
We're
Well, you see,
how about we just do it the way
I broke through the paper, and so it sagged.
Yeah, we should just do it the right way. I mean,
What's the right way?
well, putting this wall on and then instead of having to shove it in behind.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with it, but
All right. All right. Yeah. Well, my dimpler broke through all like 4 times, and so it sagged. And then as you were screwing, it was like,
okay, here, I'll undo it and take the sheet down if you have any questions or something.
yeah, let's do that. Why not? All right, Eric, we screwed up. Dimpler bit started sinking too deep, and the sheet sagged. It's getting old. I'm running out of, like, my tools are starting to get old. That's just somebody who needs to make a better dimpler bit and put it in a case for homeowners. Anyway.
Can you talk about subfloor and framing and which one you do first?
Subfloor and framing?
Yeah,
No,
so
subfloor
it's
and
usually
drywall.
a moisture issue, right?
Okay, so we're talking about basement subfloor.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah, there's basically, let's break this down. We'll do the how to build your basement in like 90 seconds. You have wet or dry, okay? On the dry side, my recommendation is polyiso insulation on the wall, 7.5 R value, 2x4 framing, pressure treated bottom plate. Don't worry about an air gap. You don't need it. Bad insulation, R13 gets you to R20.5, which is above code. Add your plastic. And then if you want to use a subfloor for a thermal break, there's all kinds of different products on the market. You just bring it up to the framing, and then you can do whatever with that. If you want to build your own subfloor package, same thing. You're dry. You don't have to worry about moisture. You don't have to worry about moisture transfer. Just build it. Now, on the wet side, it's a little different. Okay, if you have a wet system, you want to share airspace under your subfloor with behind the wall. So now your polyiso has to be installed with an adhesive dollop so that you can have the air go up there. You want it 1 inch off the floor. And then when you frame your wall, you want to put blocks and then put your wall on top of your blocks so that your airspace goes in behind. The other option is you can put in your subfloor with your dimpler bit with your airspace before you build your wall and build your wall on your subfloor. Okay. Just remember, if it's wet, you want your air underneath your floor to share the space with behind the polyiso. Whatever technique you use is fine. And if you're dry, it don't matter. Okay. Build whatever way makes you happy. But if you wait to use your subfloor system in a dry basement till near the end, when you go to flooring, at least it's not going to be filthy and covered in dust and need to be cleaned. Huh? So they have that benefit. All righty, let's get back to the drywall job. So we're going to do this one first.
Yeah.
Let's get this out of our way then. Okay?
Okay.
Let's just grab this. 2 sheets, maybe? There you go. Right there. And we'll put those all the way down. There we go. Thank you. And we'll put one of these. This is still stuck together. That's why I grabbed it. Okay. And we'll put this one over there as well. And then we'll just work from here. There we go. Bam. So now, that's where that goes. Look at that. You're like skilled. That was incredible. What were you, a goalie in another life? All right, just tracing this out. We're going to cut it now. We are going to have to make a box here at some point. And going to 17. Here we go. 17. All right, there we are. Oh, what a pain. Well, let's just go this way. When you're doing this stuff, guys, best way to build a box is to make sure you're marking all of your framing members, okay? So we know we're here. This is 3/4 inch water supply. Do not miss this screw. All right, or that's a heck of a mess. We want to hit this one as well. So we're gonna mark this on here. Okay, that's my stud. And we don't need this. But this is going to be an important piece of wood for later because we're going to want to frame out on top of drywall to build a box. Okay, so as long as we know where the wood is around here, we're going to be fine. And you're going to frame this box out before you tape. So you're able to see the screws and know where all the joints are. Hey. Okay. Now we're ready. Let's do this. Or you could just carry the whole sheet yourself. That's awesome. And tight to the corner, tight to the ceiling. Oh, come on. That's amazing. So 2 screws will hold the sheet up as long as they don't penetrate the paper. That's all we need. And it won't sag. The reason the other one sagged is because my bit gave out and it started going too deep. There we are. Now, if you're watching this and you're from Australia, yes, we don't use adhesive here. Believe it or not, guys, it's part of the Australian building code to use adhesive on your drywall. Kind of like Subfloor. I think it's amazing. It's not a bad idea. Probably saves a whole lot of those nail pops from happening. Did you see? Why do you have 3 pencil marks over there?
Well, we got one on the flat, and then we got a stud beside the flat. So these 2 are basically the flat.
Oh, okay. It's good to know. Okay. Beautiful. Let's just get everything marked, Matt, and we can just move on to the next one. I'm really feeling like I want to get a new dimpler bit and be able to come back and set all the rest of these screws. Like I'm just stripping things with this. How irritating. Okay, next one. Woohoo! Wow. Can you actually just take a minute, get this out of here, and clean my stairs out? I want to be able to have Joe come around the backside and so I can show people how to cut this off. Thank you, sir. All right, let's get the next sheet here going. So we know we have a screw surface, right? We know that we're going to want to know where that stud is on the floor. So this is what we're doing. We don't want to get confused as we're working away and start guessing again. The other thing we want to do is we want to know exactly where the road is at. Now you'll see, can you see the wires here, how they're tucked in? So this is what the electrician does. Okay, he's going to grab the wires, he's going to put his finger here, bend it, create an S, and then shove it into the back. Okay, so I've got 1.5 inches in here before I'm going to catch a wire. This is why we don't need any fancy plates. We don't need to go out and buy that silly little red thing that you stick in there that marks the drywall to tell you where the hole is. All right, just go like this. Measure next to your stud where your screw is. where you want to stick your RenoVision bit in. It's 25 inches. That's it. That's all I need. No fancy tools. I just measure the drywall, stick it on, screw it across the top, RenoVision it out, finish your screws. Done. There's nothing to this. We don't need to make this any more ridiculous than it is. 39.5 from floor to drywall. Look at that. And we want to measure this with about a 1/2 inch space, okay? You don't want your drywall coming in contact with your concrete floor or your leveler or anything else. Always leave an airspace, all right? 39.5. Better write that down before I forget and break my own cardinal rule here. Yep, that's correct. All right. Now, 39.5. The easy way to do it, because the square measures in both directions, is to measure 39.5 up here. Okay? Take your knife. Bending over and trying to cut that off near your feet isn't going to work, okay? Reach over. Look how easy the 1/2 inch cuts. Love this stuff. Thank you.
Here, I got you something for Thursday.
Oh, you're a good man. I've already got like 2 bottles of.
You need this piece?
Nope, it's garbage. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and we're gonna flip it. Okay, it was easier to cut from the top. I'm taking off what 6, 7 inches or something. About 9. Okay. Yeah, thanks, man. Now, make sure the folks at home see this. This is a really interesting tool. It's just a quick little floor pedal. I'm cutting the drywall 1/2 inch shy, give or take. So now you just slam that in and lift it up.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. I said it's the idea. Okay,
All right. Give it upward pressure.
The good news about that is we got baseboard going in, right?
Yeah, it's not
So
good.
you can butcher the first.
You can
3
butcher
inches.
the first 3 inches, yeah. That is good news. I love it. Okay. Yeah. RenoVision, please. Should put that knife close. Let's get this marked. So we're 25 inches down here. All right. Thank you, sir. Let's get our broken wire in position. That is that. Now here's the deal. Okay, rule of thumb. When you're screwing up your drywall, put the heel of the drill at the top of your corner of your plug. Okay, and that'll mark how far away I want you to put that first screw. All right. I never want to see a screw within 6 inches of this box. These boxes have little tabs on them that sit over top proud of the stud. So in truth, this drywall is going over top of those tabs. And if you get too close to these boxes, you're going to snap it and cause a crack. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe just the day after you finish painting. But then you're going to have a crack in your drywall. So keep your screws away from your box area, okay? It's fine to fill up the rest of the field, but you want to keep that 12 inches, 8 or 10. Because let me draw it on. It's right here and right here. And that stuff is 1/8 of an inch thick. We got an example here somewhere I can show you. Come on, oh, that's right by the light. That won't work. Yeah, this is just as good. In this case, this is an insulated box. Okay, and so that fin, which is at least 1/8 of an inch thick, is right over top of this wood. Okay, And so then the drywall is going to sit from there to there. And there's going to be a big gap all the way across here. As soon as I start pushing that screw in, I'm causing that to happen. All right? And that's what you want to avoid. So from the heel to your first screw. That's the rule. All right. Okay, Joe, now we got our area clean. Come on around the back side here. We'll show the folks at home how to get perfect outside corners. All right. Is that field all screwed up? No. I just want to get one in the middle up here. Here we are. Now, the way we work, use an open knife. Not those silly little knives that only have a 1-inch knife blade that comes out. Get a man's knife, all right? Here we go. We're going to score the backside. And then we're simply going to put some pressure on that wall. Fold it over. Stick your knife through. Done. Okay? I'll show you one more time. And then I remember our last live show, we were cut off a little bit early. And I was going to explain how to set yourself up for different kinds of corners. Okay? So let's do that this time. All right? This is perfect. This is a perfect way to go. If you want a round corner, pick that garbage up. So right now this drywall is flush with the wood on the corner. If you want a round corner, you install it like this. Okay? And you only cover the wood, you don't cover the drywall. That's all you have to remember. Here we go. Now, ouch. Oh. That's round. And this is a 90 corner. So the 90 corner, oh, I need more screws. There we go. Thank you, sir. Here's the difference. When you're using a regular traditional 90 corner bead, you want to go cover the drywall. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to write that on again because I got it upside down. So now, if you forget, you can go back to that video. You can watch it. That's a 90. This is the round. Okay? And the way that you put the corner bead on is you just fill this up with a bunch of mud. Add it on both sides. Squeeze it on in there. Boom, done. Okay, there you go. Now you know. So let's start with an 8-footer here, Matt. Right? And that gets us to our perfect spot. And then we're still not in the way of the other one, which is perfect. I'm loving this. I'm going to get a handful of screws into my more convenient pouch area. Okay. All right.
So we do have a situation with the drywall
So
here.
we're going to have an issue because the ceiling is the ceiling.
Okay.
The wall is flat and straight, and that's nice and touching. So we'll keep this one nice and tight and then slide it up based on that. So we only have one gap opening. If you have to sacrifice, figure out whatever gives you the least amount of gaps. Now, we didn't build the floor package here. We built the walls, and the walls are straight. So in this situation, I'll trust the walls to stay square, right? Knowing that if we're square on this, then every time we have a joint, our walls are all plumb, so our joints will all be plumb. If we try to follow the ceiling, our boards are going to go on an angle, and we'll hit a screw and miss a screw, and then we have stitching issues.
Gotcha.
All right, that's all you, man. Up you go. Cool. Let it in. Let it on. Okay, now, if you haven't noticed, we're still using the 1 5/8" screw, which is fine. They make 1 1/4. It's a lot less work. The point is that it's 1 5/8" minus a ½ inch. So it's only 1 1/8" penetrating into the wood. So I'm still within my realm of building code. So if this is the front of my stud and that's the back of my stud, and they make a hole, it's in the middle, and my screw only goes to about here. So I'm not worried about it, okay? Because I got material here now. So I can't possibly penetrate anything because I was on site when they built this house, and I know nothing was done wrong that didn't have a protection plate. Okay. Here we go. Now let's find out, where's my window? I only want to go this far. Oh yeah, we'll cut that one out. Boom. Now, this is fun because we get to teach you a whole lot of new stuff now. This is going to be good. Why is this cord such an awful mess? Oh. Can you figure that out?
Yeah.
I guess it's a real disaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
What? Was I just throwing it around the room earlier or something?
I'm not too sure.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Looks like someone was using it like a rodeo rope or something.
Well, I'm going to make it around the roof like that. We don't have to fix it much more than that.
Okay.
I just see it keep on getting worse as time goes on. Whoa! Whoa! Trip hazard.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm fine.
Sorry
How
about
about that's okay, man.
But this is what happens.
Here, let's just fix this on the spot then.
Okay. Maybe unplug it and just do it again.
No, it's okay.
Oy, oy, oy. I feel terrible.
No, it's okay.
I just about killed my son.
Mistakes happen.
All right.
Mistakes happen.
All right. Okay. Well, so next, you have an important rule with basements and drywalling. You always want to land in the middle of your stud. Okay. If you're not in the middle of your stud, you want to use a piece of wood to splice it together. You can get away with it, but it's not ideal. All right. Because if you have kids, they will eventually be thrown into a wall. And then it's not going to sustain that kind of impact. All right. So consider that. And if your kids are really wild, go with a fire rated drywall on the walls too. Right. Nice and strong. How are we doing over there? You got it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling a lot safer now all of a sudden. I don't know what was going on with that, man. It was just like a mess. Spaghetti Western.
Yeah, unless you grab the rope and intently try to untangle it. It doesn't really untangle, right?
No, it doesn't. All right.
That's all good.
Let's come over here. I'll get you to hold this for me.
Sure.
We're going to measure top and bottom here and make sure that everything is nice and square. Now, remember, when you're measuring, you want to have it held tight to the wall. You want to take an actual measurement here. And then you have a 1/2 inch of mercy. So feel free to incorporate that in your measurement. I'm almost 110, so I'm going to go 109.5. Okay? Because I don't need that extra 1/2 inch behind that drywall. All the way to the top as well. We'll see how wonderful we are here. I am exactly 109.5. So I am a little bit out, even though we've got the gap over there. Okay? So 109.5. And then we're going to shave the top right corner of that cut. Now, this is the factory edge. So we come to our 12-foot sheet. This is our factory edge. We're going to measure from the other direction this time. All right? So now we're coming away from our factory edge. This represents the corner of the room. We will just use the square to cut the sheet. And then we'll use the rasp to clean that up a little bit. Now remember, you don't have to cut through the drywall, just the paper. All right. Do you have your rasp on you?
Yep.
Can you give the top right foot or so of that a good rub?
Sure.
Make sure that she's going to fit in without any issues. Because that one was exactly the measurement I cut. There we go. Well played. And let's make sure we penciled up the ceiling for our studs. I think we're missing a couple here. Oh, that's just a bad line. Just stop doing that. All right. And then over here, I'm going to show folks at home. We've got some 1x3 in behind here as our backing. All right. So I'm just going to mark this. Nothing there. Nothing up there. And then the bottom, same thing. Okay. There's no other issues. We're just going to rotozip that when we're done. So let's toss this up. You can tell me when your corner there is perfect.
Okay. We can go to meet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and that's good there.
Okay. Beautiful. I actually got a little bit of room and I don't know why. Did I cut this at 109? Matt,
Yeah.
I think I screwed the cut up.
Hey, let's put it back up and double check.
Because I'm actually quite short.
Okay, I'm tight there.
Oh, I'm short.
Are you?
I got nothing to screw to.
Okay.
I screwed that up. Yeah. All right. Save that for another day.
Cool.
Wow. Whoops.
That's all right. We'll use this on the other side of the basement.
Whoops. Huh. Huh. All right. Well, when it happens, don't try to make chocolate out of crap, guys. All right. When you screw it up, you screw it up. Try to find another day, another way to play, but
no one's perfect, man.
no one's perfect. Even though you write it down, you got a couple hours in on your drywall. I'll tell you right now, you're gonna
106 starts looking like 109.
You are gonna, yeah. Well, 6 feet looks like 60 inches. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I got somebody laughing in the back there. What did I say, Eric? Did I say don't try to turn chocolate out of crap or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
At least it was the PG version of that expression. All right, you want to cut and snap. You got any questions for me while we're here there, Butch? I could eat some crow. Oh, fantastic. All right. So there's only one. Now he's double checking my measurements before I go to hang the sheet. That's just awesome. Well done, Maddie. Okay.
You want to grab that side, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Give you a little bit of wiggle room in there.
Yeah.
Oh. You know what we could do? We can recut that one to go on this wall
We could.
because we need a smaller piece than the 109.
Yep.
So that'll be good.
And then re-rasp this front right corner.
Yeah, you're going to need to. One of the things you want to do, try when you're doing drywall, do the longer walls first in your house. So when you make the mistakes, you can recycle that onto a shorter wall somewhere, which is handy, which is why we're starting in this room, and we'll do all the smaller rooms later so that all those mistakes can be used up and we don't have to throw them away.
Yeah.
All right, boss, let's roll.
Good.
I'm in.
I'm tight to me here.
Okay, now, how's that looking on your gap at your underneath the window?
1/4 inch.
Okay. Is it at the top as well?
It's at the bottom only.
At the bottom only.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take a 1/4 inch gap for 6 inches versus a whole ceiling gap. That makes sense?
Yep.
That slipped. I went through. Oh, come on. Probably should have switched out for some coarse thread screws. All right. Yeah, this is where that happens. All right. Let's just get one screw near the top so it doesn't pull off the walls.
Is this a double stud up here?
I don't know. Yes, there is. By the window. By the window there is.
Gotcha.
All right. There we go. Let the air in. Let the light in. Let's just leave that nice and ugly for now. Perfect. That is absolutely perfect. All right. Okay, so system. Matt will screw up this drywall. I'm going to go measure my next gap. 24 and a half. And I'm going to grab this one, Matty. Thank you. Bang. 24 and a half. That's encouraging. All right. Now, we're going to come back with a 12-foot sheet this time, which should bring us right to the middle of a stud. Right? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any tips for making sure you cut the correct location for outlet boxes? So
Yep.
you don't miss.
Yep. Okay, so we'll do it over here. It'll be easier to see. So outlets are always installed next to a stud. The screw marks your stud location. What I'm doing is I'm measuring from the bottom of the drywall to the box about an inch from the top corner. So I'm trying to identify this location right here. Right? So I'm doing 24 inch and a half. I mark where the middle of the box is. When I come back with the drywall, I just, gravity will pick that for me. I make the mark on the wall. I plunge, I run over, I jump the corner, and then I just follow the side around. That's the whole system. It's not that tricky. I'll show you in just a second. Yeah, I got to get this the right height. Okay, so we're going to go 39. 39 is good. 39 works. 39 works. That's what happens when you use floor level, right?
Nice.
Life is simple.
Yeah.
39 inches. Here's my square. $39 is at 9. All right. Want to give me a hand with this? I'll meet you at the middle. I think for the next one, we'll bend it over. We'll open it up and we'll get the camera on the other side so they can see. We'll show you what it's like from the other side, guys. Okay?
Yep. Oh, sorry for that bang.
Ouch. Now, the idea is to turn our cut edge to the bottom. So I'm going to use Matt to help me flip this over. Do not just stand on the end and pick it up. It'll sag in the middle and snap in half. So what you want to do is pick it up in the air and underneath and up and over, especially in a tight space. And then we can walk this in. All right. Yeah, you're definitely on the foot.
Are you tight over there?
Yeah, pretty good. I don't know if the bottom was ever screwed. Yeah, it feels good. Come a little further. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. All right, you're good? Too deep. My bad, sorry.
Perfect. You know what I can do? Yeah. Sure.
I'm not left-handed. All right, so right back to the rotozip. Again, we're cutting the outside of the box. So let's get our location. Measure 24.5. That's our spot. And if you're not sure, you can take that T-square, flip it upside down, set it against the wall, just to help you identify what plumb is in that scenario. Okay. Now, this is set for the ceiling, not the wall. And the way you know that is this part of the dip. The tip, that first 1/4 inch is just the guide. It's smooth, it doesn't cut. And so then I want to make sure I got a smooth tip and then just a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. There we go. And again, we'll close it. Use the heel. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Stud's on this side over here. My bad. And now we got an 8-foot for over here now, right?
Yep.
We got the 12-foot in front of it. We got pieces everywhere, Matt. Let's put that cut piece in front of the other one. No, let's not cut this one. This is that leftover 12 that I cut at the wrong length.
Right, you want to use it up there,
I
right?
wanted to use it on that third wall.
I'll pull this out of the way if you grab the 8-footer.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. We'll do the dance. All right. Man, I think I left my tape measure around here somewhere.
Windowsill?
Nope, it's on the floor. All right. And we got 61.5. 61.5. 61.5, bud.
Okay.
And thank you. Now, we measure from right to left, but then we measure left to right on the drywall. So we always have factory edge to factory edge. There we are. Okay. Oh, here. 1 second. 1 second, Matt. Let's let this, let's let the world in on this. Good. I just show them I like to lean forward a little bit. You see very the bottom, Joe? If I lean the top drywall open, that means the knife can get underneath. Nice and easy.
Gotcha.
And just cutting the paper. That's it. You don't have to cut through all the gypsum. If you're only cutting paper, your knife blade will last the entire project. Now, this is perfect cut. Now we flip it upside down and we cut it at our, was it 39 we were going with?
I don't remember.
Yeah, 39.
See, I'd normally just like bend all the way down and cut it, but this is much easier.
For a small piece like this, sure.
Yeah,
Or
well,
if you have a helper. If you're working alone, you do what you got to do, right?
yeah, well, it's always best not to be working close to the floor, you know.
That's it.
39. So from
39.
From the bottom, 39 equals 9 inches.
Now, here's a great opportunity to show this from the backside. All right, Joe. Okay. It's all about you, baby. There we are. Now, when we're cutting from the backside, we're seeing this crease. All right, here we go. And the knife blade sits in there pretty good if you got it bent over almost 90 degrees. Okay. There we are.
Perfect. Don't even need the pedal.
Sweet. You got a drill around here somewhere?
Yeah, it's
Right there. I'll go get it for you.
Thank you.
Here you go, bud.
Thanks.
It's the least I can do. Also the most. All right. Oh, back to our insane death trap here. Okay, so now my box is on the other side of the stud. That's good to know. My pencil, 24.5 from there. Ah, my goodness, that was tight. Okay. Okay. Now we just know, remember we marked that, so we know not to put screws in those locations. Oh. My goodness. Let's get that all on. Okay. There we go. Okay, what are you thinking? What happened to those two blocks that we had that were sitting over there for the 8-foot
I
drywall?
threw them out.
The garbage can?
Well, they're just over here in our temporary garbage.
Well, let's bring them over. We'll set them up because we got to move the 12s over here now.
Sure.
That's part of the job, right? We have to keep recycling all of our locations.
Yes.
All right. You found them okay?
Or
are they Gandhi?
Yeah, I think they're Gandhi. Oh, they're literally.
Oh, they're literally standing right there. Okay. Set it up for 12s for us.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Hey, Jeff, can I ask you a question about vapor barrier?
Sure thing.
Someone was asking about the plastic vapor.
Yes.
It's got to be on the warm side, right?
Yes. Yeah, vapor barrier is always on the warm side. So depending on your climate and location, you may or may not even need it. So always check with your local building code. For us up here in Ottawa, Canada, it's super cold in the wintertime. So we always put it on the inside of our house so that warm, moist air can't have that moisture transfer into the wall. Where on the other side of the insulation, it would freeze. And that would be bad. We don't want frost in our walls because that eventually melts. And then you get lots of water in your wall, turning your wood moldy. So we use it to protect ourselves from that sort of damage. All right. That's it. Vapor barrier, simple trick.
Cool.
I got one more quick question, Jeff.
Yeah, babe.
How much space between the screws?
Okay. What's the easiest way to describe this? This is a 4-foot sheet. So you get one up here, one down here, one in the middle, and then you split the difference. That gives you 5. Okay. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, 48 divided by 4 is 12 inches. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. I forgot the math. It's been so long. All right. All right. What do we got over here now? We're going to do, we have a box up here.
Mm-hmm.
Is this protruding out of the wall? Barely. That's like television box, right? All right. Because we're going to start with the ceiling. We're going to mark up here. We're going to go to let's go 23. That's my rotozip mark. And then let's see if our 12 lands on a stud here. And we cut a sheet 109, right?
We did.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now that's there. That's short of a stud. But if I cut it back here at 8 feet and a half an inch, I can finish this wall. Oh, yeah, less than 8 feet. That's perfect. Let's save that
Cool.
sheet. All right.
So 2 12-footers and then 2 8-footers.
This is a 96 and a half. We'll take that old one and we'll cut it down to 96 and a half.
Okay.
That'll be perfect.
Which is this one.
Behind there, yeah. All right. I have a sneaky feeling these are going to be recycled later on in the project. I'll get these out of here. Bada-boom.
You said 96 and a half?
96 and a half, sir.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Beautiful. All right. You know what, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to hang this sheet.
Yep.
And then we'll put the. I think we'll hang the sheet and then we'll do the box. Box is going to take a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, here's the only thing. We're going top left, and this is not a factory edge.
That would be my left side of the sheet. I'll
Yes.
flip it.
So we have to flip this upside down.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to go flip. And then I'm over here and you're over there. Now we got to mark all of these studs before we get ahead of ourselves. Might as well go right to the very corner while we're at it. Beautiful. All right.
I'm just going to grab my drill.
Cool.
All right.
Now, we're always, as we're going around the room, trying to go as tight as we can in the top corner. Now, I got a gap opening up over here. And so, in this scenario, it's better to have the ceiling perfect than the corner as long as I've got wood. And I've got wood, so let's just go with it.
Nope.
Oh, I'm laughing over here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We have it stashed in the window. Hey, nice hole in the drywall there from your bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking it was going to actually fit inside the box.
That would have been nice.
No biggie. All right. I'm going to try cutting this plastic thing out. It's going to be interesting, I think. That is really acting strange. When in doubt, cut it out. I was not underneath it. That's why. Okay. That's a weird looking flange, eh? Okay. Huh. I was just over there trying to cut through the set screw there. That's crazy. All right. Okay.
Next sheet.
Oh, dude.
What?
Don't have a lot of wood to play with here, do we? Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, so the gap that opens up here ends up translating over there.
We could just screw on an angle, no?
What?
We could screw in on an angle.
Yeah, you
It's
actually
not best practice, but
the easiest way for me to fix this, believe it or not, is to get another 2x4. Open up the vapor barrier about 2 inches out.
gotcha.
Bring that in, sister that stud.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't have a choice. And then we can tape that with vapor tape later. All right. Now, I got to cut this down. Oh, wow.
Sorry, I gotta get in.
Frustration. There we go. So these things are going to happen. If you want it perfect the first time, you should watch a TV show. All right. If you're going to make things perfect, it means when things go wrong, you make them perfect. Okay? There's no way around it. Integrity is simply defined as do whatever it is to fix it, no matter how much it hurts you. End of discussion. Okay. So we'll fix that up. Matt's going to grab a stud. Let's head over to the other corner, and I'm going to show you guys how to box up that corner. All right. Here we go. We have the saw still out here, or did it get put away a little bit?
Skill saw?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just over here.
Cool, buddy. Thanks. So here's the basic gist. That's in the way. All right. I want to make a box here that's as unobtrusive as possible. So I need framing that matches this framing. And I'll cut that right to the corner. I'm going to put framing up here. And then I'm going to put something in this ceiling because I have something here. I have ceiling here. So I can take a piece of wood from that dimension all the way to there. And once I've got those 3 pieces of wood, I have all the makings that I need to make a box. So let's get this done. Let's go 26 and a half. Yep. That's close enough. Yeah. Now, all I gotta do, switch out my bit. I have some really fancy screws here, but it doesn't work without the bit. Where'd it go to?
What are you looking for?
Oh, that stupid bit for these great screws.
Oh, it's the little,
Yeah, my T25.
that one was on a bit extender for you.
There it is. It's in the wrong pocket. That's all. Life is good. I'm in business. All right. Now, when you're working with 2x2s, guys, consider the idea of pre-drilling your holes before you attach anything. All right, and that's my spot. Just to help make sure you don't split this all up. Oh, nicely done. Here we go. Now, when you're making a box, and we're just doing it to cover that duct, the goal is to be able to support the drywall. That's it, right? This is not rocket science. We're just looking to support the drywall. Okay, and this will work. So measure from the ceiling to the top of the wood, 16 1/4. You want to level it? Make this one 16 1/4. And bam. Okay, here we go. Okay. Whoop. Yeah. Magnetic tip barely works. All right. Now, I have to go to the ceiling here. 16 1/4. There we go. That one I want to be just a little bit shy on purpose. And doesn't matter where I put my screws. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Now, when I get this measurement here, 26 5/8. Beautiful. And that's what we're going to make the top section. And okay. All we got to do here, measure off that gap, 5 3/4. There we go. How is that working out? 7 1/4. Beautiful. Okay. Now that's enough weight to carry drywall in all these corners. I'm just going to cut a sheet, add another piece of blocking here, add a sheet, and then the piece of blocking that sticks out here, that corner and that corner, there's enough to hang the other piece of drywall. It's really quite simple. Okay. So all I need is another 26 1/2. That's close. All right, there we are. So, hey, Matt.
Yep.
I get you to cut me a sheet of drywall here, bud.
Sure.
And make it 17 3/4 by 26 1/2.
Out of the cut-offs over here.
Yeah, that's a great spot to get that from. Doesn't really matter. If you get it from a full sheet, you can use the square.
Yeah, I just got to find a 1/2 inch, and there's this one here.
Oh, yeah, that's just all 5/8.
Yeah.
Hey, winner, chicken dinner. You sure that's only half inch? Yeah, for sure. Oh, that was.
Oh, it's got a bunch of holes in it.
Well, that's fine. I got to
Okay.
mud the entire thing. I don't care.
Okay.
I see what you're doing. You're setting that aside. Yeah, a hole's just a hole. So if you cut me a slice of that at 17 3/4, just don't break it off yet, and then we'll do the other cuts that I need.
Okay.
So I need one of those. I need one at 7 1/4. Okay. Okay, yeah, that works. Now, I need one piece at 26 1/2, and then one at 7 1/4.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Just so I don't forget, you know?
Yeah, you wrote down?
Yeah.
I got it written on the wall back there, too. Sweet. Okay.
Oh, you taking it?
I'll take that here.
Okay.
Why not?
Oh, 26 and a half.
26 1/2, yes.
Okay.
Means I got to change my drill.
This is 26. And 7 1/4.
You got it. Yeah, you can read that?
Barely.
All right. 7 1/4. There it is. All right. I don't need that anymore. Put it over here. Boy, that's pretty tricky. I'll take it. All right, here we go. We'll take that factory edge for the bottom. Nothing to it, eh? Oh, you know what I did? I forgot to add plus the width of that drywall. I should have put 7 3/4.
Huh.
Huh.
All right. Did you want this piece of insulation squeezed back in here?
Yes, sir. I've already trimmed it down.
I got you. So, you going to Rib Fest this weekend or no?
Rib fest. Love me some pork covered in sugar. I know I'm on a somewhat a carnivore diet, but I don't see how that works out. Oh, this is not happening. I need 3 hands.
Okay.
Nice save. That works.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. That was a compliment. I wasn't trying to.
Okay, what do you need?
Just you got to hold the drywall because I need one hand for the screw, one hand for the drill. Thanks.
You done with all these?
You're talking about the little pieces of drywall, maybe.
Okay.
I probably need one for the bottom still. The one that's in your hand. Yeah. That'll work. Okay. Now. Okay, what else do we got for wood around here, Matt? I'm running out of 2x2.
We got a ton of 1x3 and 1x4 strapping.
I had a piece of 2x2 here. Are you cleaning up on me?
Yep.
I'm going to need that back.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, thanks. All right, I need a nailing surface. Okay, so what I want to do here, maybe you can come and screw this in for me with your drill.
Sure.
Okay. One on each side of my thumbs.
The left side or the right side of your
Either
thumb?
side is fine. Well, you don't have to do too close. There you go. Give me something nice and tight there. Okay, now screw right through here for me. Let me just get that nice and straight. Yeah, right here. Okay. Now, okay. That look almost straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, and then under here. I got a nailing surface right there and over there, obviously. Okay. And then,
Yeah.
give right there. Oh, you missed it. You made a great big pencil mark. Beautiful. And then right there. Beautiful. That's it. Box is done. Now when it comes to taping this bad boy, we're just going to use some corner bead. The kind that doesn't go on with nails. I'll probably use like Perfect 90. And it just goes on with mud. All right. And by the time we're done adding all of the corners and paper and tape, this thing is going to be solid as a rock. And we're not using it to hang grandma's dinner plates on or anything, all right? It's just there to cover up that duct. There we go.
It's a good box.
Yeah, that's a good box. That was a good day. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm getting tired. That's right. I'm lazy nowadays. I'm getting old. This has been a great feed. Let's hang out for 2 more minutes if you got any more questions last minute you want to get in. Otherwise, that's been a great day. We learned today how to hang, how to use a rotozip, how to make sure that you always got as close to gap as possible. And even when you're using the proper technique, you get gaps. So we're going to have to go and make a video and show you how to tape this mess. Obviously, that's coming up soon. Eric, we got anybody in the chat that's got a quick question for us?
There's not that many questions. We have been talking with somebody about doing your own electrical and plumbing.
Yes, doing your own mechanical work.
Hiring the pro trades.
Yeah.
And so we've been kind of going back and forth on that. Do you want to touch on that process?
Yeah, sure. I got a couple of tips for you guys. In today's marketplace, for the first time in history, you're going to make money even if you hire trades renovating your house. Okay? That's just the cost of doing business. We don't have enough people to build houses. We're way behind on production. We don't have enough people to renovate houses. Everybody went and retired. Everybody who knew what they were doing is out of business. So now the business vacuum has sucked up a lot of young guys who are like being ambitious, and good on you. But just remember, stay in your lane. If you don't know how to do it, fix up at your first house before you do something for a client and screw up their house. If you want to renovate, feel free, hire professionals to mix and mingle. Electricians and plumbers especially are used to coming in and doing just their thing and leaving. They're really easy to hire. It's hard to hire somebody just to do the taping or just to hang the drywall or just to paint. Although there are painters out there, they're really in more commercial projects nowadays if they're any good, because it's easy money. Government money is easy money. So if you can hire a residential painter, you might be surprised. It might be someone who learned how to pick up a brush last week. Remember, if you want something done right, do it yourself. And if you can't, then hire it out and don't worry about it because you're still making money. It's a perfect win-win scenario. All right? It's what we call the ROI of DIY. And that video is coming soon. Cheers till next time. Unless Eric's got